there are certain things that I look at and I think the system is the system. And, United fans will like it or they won't like it. But Amorim's not going to change. He's going to die in his own ditch if he's going to die in terms of losing his job. But it does mean there are challenges at times whereby to try and make, when you are chasing a game, he still plays that. So even at Grimsby away, you had Mason Mount at left wing back. Well, that's just not right. Today, I think he's always changing his back three. Always, it seems, in every single match. Euro comes off or someone else comes off, and then it doesn't seem to get any better. Changing the back three, I always think you need stability in your back line. And I say back three, he changes the back five regularly as well. So the two wing backs and the back three. The goalkeeper is the goalkeeper. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong today, but I don't think he will be strong enough to be able to be a Manchester United goalkeeper, so that will come back and bite at some point. The midfield is a massive problem, and we've known that. United fans know that. Agati and Fernandes today, I think you mentioned it early, about an hour before the game, that Agati and Fernandes played in this fixture last year from start to finish, and United won the game. But Agati's not good enough. And Bruno's not a player who plays in a deep line midfield in a two. Particularly, he can do, I think, if United are at home and they're playing against a team where they're dominating possession, you can maybe bring him a bit deeper and get away with it. But against any team that have got good possession, good players, and that's most teams in the Premier League, Bruno is always going to probably struggle in a midfield too. And what happens is, it's a bit of a pattern that exists. You can cuddle Bruno with Ahmad and then Burmo and Sesko, and they sit in front of him and provide a shield. But what happens is, when the game opens up a little bit, or the game players get a little bit more fatigued, or United go 1-0 down, they end up then sort of chasing it a little bit. The front three stay a little bit higher, and then those spaces start to appear in midfield, and then Bruno starts to get pulled around a little bit. And Bruno's United's best player by a mile. But this system either has to have him as a one of a two in midfield, or one of a front three, of which he's neither of these two positions. So you've got an issue there. It's a specialist system. Wing-back's a specialist position. Mazraoui didn't have a good game today. Shaw had his poorest game of the season by a mile. He was well off it. First two goals he was poor for, and the third goal he didn't cover himself in glory. It was just a nothing today for me. It was just poor. I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not screaming. I think I've gone past that. But Ruben Amorim is going to come under big pressure. He's going to come under big pressure. Manchester United are 14th in the league. Now, it's only a few games in. It's 4 games in. But next week, if Manchester United lose and they go to 15th and 16th, it's 5 games in. And before you know it, you're in October, and Manchester United are in the bottom half of the table. And that's where they couldn't be, having spent £200 million, having him had a pre-season. Yeah, they might be 7th, 8th, 9th. They could be in those types of positions, but they can't be in the bottom half of the table. So there's got to be a quick turnaround pretty quickly. And the manager's idea has got to land very quickly with the players. Now, I'm not saying here today, I don't think there's any suggestion, and I'm not suggesting that, the players have got down tools on him. They've not, but they're struggling a little bit. They're struggling. They're struggling against Burnley at home. I was at the match. They're struggling against Fulham away in large parts of the game. They're struggling at Grimsby. They struggled here today. They're struggling with it. They're struggling to find rhythm, to find tempo, to find performance levels. I was really heartened by the first game of the season against Arsenal. I thought it was a really good performance. But maybe that was just, they'd had a good pre-season, they built this sort of... But maybe now Cunha gets injured, Mount gets injured, the old sort of scar, the old wounds, the old scars are starting to open up. And I'm worried. I'm worried about the manager. I'm worried about what's going to happen in this next few weeks. I don't think it's a time for panic. But I've seen this before. We've seen this film, haven't we?
Quite often.
And
so what would you do, may I ask? Exactly, Chelsea next. Sorry to interrupt, but they have to carry on operating. And as we mentioned in the game, they haven't got that many games this year. They're out the League Cup. There's no Europe. So they've got from now until next weekend when they play Chelsea.
Yeah.
What would you, if it's not too facile a question, what would you be doing tomorrow and Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday? How can it be better next week?
Yeah, I wouldn't change my my preparation. I'd like to think he's going to be a serious professional, Ruben Amorim, and so are the players in terms of how they prepare. I won't change anything in that respect. But they've got to come out of the blocks next Saturday night against Chelsea, 5:30 kick-off. Atmosphere, it'll be fantastic at Old Trafford next Saturday night. It will be for 10-15 minutes. The crowd will always be with the team, always be with the manager. And Chelsea play midweek in Europe, so United have got a free week to prepare for it, so they should have more energy, more legs. No, it's early in the season, so it's a small thing, but they should be in a position whereby they can really go for it, be really aggressive. And I think they have to, in that first 15-20 minutes next week, go and get a goal. You know, I'm not saying that that's going to be the be-all and end-all, but they have to start quickly. They have to get a goal. They can't go 1-0 down against Chelsea and then all of a sudden Chelsea are passing it around, the crowd goes quiet, and before you know it, you're into a sort of spiral of another game. I think they have to be really lightning quick out of the blocks next Saturday night, because it's a really important match. You're losing away from home from City is never going to cost you your job, because the reality of it is a lot of teams lose here. But when you start to lose games at home, they just beat Burnley in the last minute. You know, it is going to start to put pressure on the manager, and you're going to see more images of the owners in the box, and Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox and Jim Ratcliffe and everybody else. You're just going to start to see more of those images appear. So Manchester United have to find wins. They have to get wins in this latter part of September, early October. They cannot lose games, because if they carry on losing games, there's going to be an outcry in the next few weeks, and we don't want that. I mean, United don't want that. There's no benefit, there's no sort of plus sign today here at Old Trafford. Sorry, at the Etihad, because Manchester United have lost for a United fan.
Commiserations. You said in your interview with the BBC that you need to work on some things for the next game. What was it that you saw today that you weren't happy with?
If you look at the goals, we can avoid that kind of goals. With Oku, we have almost everyone behind the ball, and we could be more aggressive. The second goal, in the moment of the game that we are pressing City, we suffer a goal in the throw-in when we want to recover the ball instead of covering the space and then to win the ball. We let two players of City 1-against-1. The approach that we had in that play, we can avoid, and we can close our goal. And then the third goal, Haaland has all the space, a confusion with our players, and then he has all the space to play. So in these moments, I felt that if you look at the goals, there are that moments we could avoid, and that is the key of the games, is to take advantage of these moments, and they took it, and not in us, in transitions. Great shot from Ryan. In those moments, they were better than us.
Ruben, I mean, it's eight Premier League wins since you've been here. At some stage, you're going to have to accept that the way you set up your team is just not working. It's not creating enough wins, and people are finding it easy to play against you.
Find it easy to play against, guys. You have I understand that, and I accept. So it's not a record that you should have in Manchester United. There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So and we will talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that, in the system or whatever. So I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change.
Okay. David. Oh, we can hear you. Go on. Can
you understand why sort of fans can't see that after a result?
No, I understand everything.
Losing faith
sorry.
in your ability to kind of turn the situation.
That is normal. That is normal. With the results, again, I accept that. I don't see that way. I see that we are doing better, but then the results doesn't show that. I remember last year we play in the former club. We play against City. We won 4-1. It was not near the opportunities, the way we control the game compared to today. But in certain moments we were not better than City. So I understand that, and it's hard, and the record says everything. So I understand.
But what is your message to those fans who are losing?
My message is that I'm going to give everything. I will do everything, always thinking about what is best for the club. That was always the same message. And then it's not my decision, the rest.
We've heard the manager say in pre-season and as soon as about 2 days ago in his press conference that we're a different team now. That looked like last season's third against last season's 15th place team, which was Manchester United. I look on bigger picture, Man United have basically cleared out 8 first-team players. They've brought in 3 forwards and looks like a backup goalkeeper. You know, how long does the club allow this to continue? Everybody wants to give a manager time, windows, time for philosophy, time for new players. Gosh, they don't look any different. Is spending 200 million plus on new forwards move the needle? Not yet. I know they're not all out there. Mateus Cunha is their best attacker. But praise to Man City. You know, Phil Foden coming back was great. Erling Haaland, signature performance from Erling Haaland. Doku deserves mention as well.
Yeah. Can we stay on Manchester United for a second? I want to talk to you, Tim, about the substitutions made by Ruben Amorim. It was about 60 minutes on the clock or so. They were chasing the game, 1-0 down, and on came, or 2-0 down, I should say, and on came Harry Maguire and not Mainu, and not Joshua Zirkzee, the one player on the bench that you think, at 2-0 down, you might use to try and get back in the game. What is wrong with these substitutions?
Yeah, so Zirkzee is the one who has to come on the pitch because he's the only one that can change the game in the forward area. The one thing I haven't worked out yet is Ruben Amorim likes to change a centre half for a centre half, like for like, round about 60 minutes. He does it often. I'll have to check exactly how many times, but he does it often. And I'm not really sure why he does that. Very few managers will change their centre half at all. Maybe it's for set piece, you know, you talked about it, maybe it's for attacking set pieces and so on, but it just doesn't feel like that is the right way to go about it. It doesn't change the game in any way for me.
Manchester United's 3-0 defeat to Manchester City in the derby highlighted just how far they remain from competing at the very top. Defensive errors set the tone. Harry Maguire's costly mistake and Luke Shaw's struggles against Jeremy Doku left United exposed. The 3-4-3 system failed to offer balance, leaving gaps that City ruthlessly punished on the break. Up front, Benjamin Sesko was starved of service, while United's midfield couldn't cope with City's pressing and quick transitions. Erling Haaland's clinical finishing, Phil Foden's creativity, and Donnarumma's key saves underlined City's superior quality. Once United conceded, belief drained quickly, and their lack of resilience showed. For Ruben Amorim, this was a brutal reminder that tactical tweaks alone won't close the gap. His side must find consistency, defensive discipline, and sharper attacking play if they hope to challenge City's dominance.